Hey, now we're going to learn how to use sensors with our motors. So I really want to just make it clear how the software is laid out because there's a menu that you navigate through and there's certain options that if you understand it, you can apply that to different commands. It doesn't just have to be the way that I do it. There's different ones. So let's open up our software and step one, let's get our move steering. Okay. Now, you may remember that it said off, on, as you can see right here. We're going to go ahead and just pick on. You'll see that the number of rotations disappears because it's just expecting to turn the motor on. And the thing about EV3 and robotics with Lego is that it's not going to just turn on like this. You need to tell it for how long. So we're going to start using what's called the wait command. Now, if you look at the bottom, the orange tab, flow control, you have wait. Put it right up there. So you can read this program like this. I will, if I'm the robot, I will move forward at 75 power for 1 second. Now, that's fine and good, but let's say I want to use a sensor, because that's the way that your robot's going to be able to navigate its world. So if you click that button that's right under the wait hourglass, it's going to show up a list of options. Now, brick buttons would be the buttons on the brain itself. Motor rotation is how far the wheels go. For this example, let's use the ultrasonic sensor. So I've always ever used compare distance. I never used change in distance or inches. I'm sure you could, and I'm sure there are applications that's the best thing to do. But for me, I'm just going to do compare distance centimeters, distance inches. I'm going to just pick centimeters, and I'll read what this is saying. So you'll see different options here. That 4, if you don't know it, hover your mouse over. Click it. Oh, equals, not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and 50. That's the distance. So your robot is going to move forward at 75 power until it sees something that is less than 50 centimeters away. That's how you read that program. Now, if I were to add something like, okay, let's get my arm in here. Now it would be your robot's moving forward as long as it needs to until it sees something that's less than 50 centimeters. Once it does that, it's going to move the arm, whatever I tell it to, right here. So that's the sequence there. There are different options for every sensor. If I go into the touch sensor, compare state. That just means you press the button, released, pressed, or bumped. So every sensor is going to have a different set of options, and we're going to have little exercises that'll give us more experience with that. But all you really need to know is that anytime you want to use a sensor, you don't go to the sensors, even though that makes sense. You're going to go to what you want your robot to do, or the different commands that would be lined up with what you want your sensor to be doing. So let me even just take a step, I'll go forward a little bit. A loop. A loop allows you to repeat actions several times. So you're going to see that in a loop, this thing, if I click here, it's got the same options. So just don't freak out when you think of sensors. It's just, let me read this. Okay, it's showing me a lot of sensors. I've seen these before, and it will loop until it uses the sensor in the way that you asked it to. So it's, as long as you get comfortable with the fact that you aren't going to the sensor tab that's down in yellow, and instead you're going to the orange tab more times than not to find a sensor in the menu. That's it. And that's going to allow you to do some really complex and complicated things.